Hello, my crochet friends. It's been a little while, huh? I've been busy, but then I've not. And then I've been busy, and then I've not, okay? So, a lot of updates for today, all right? So, today is Thursday, June 19th. And you guys are going to be seeing this on Friday, June 20th. And by the time you see this, I'm going to be away for the weekend. And I'm so excited because I have not had a vacation or traveled in like over 20 years. I think maybe my last trip might have been my honeymoon back in 2002. And I'm not counting trips to the zoo or to the aquarium with the kids because where we live, that stuff is very close to home. And this is still very close to home. But it's like my first trip in a while. I'm actually packing a suitcase because I need a suitcase for my trip. So, life has been busy. My 18-year-old graduated high school on June 12th. On June 10th, I had to take my husband to the hospital. He was having heart trouble. And in the process of registering him in the emergency room at the hospital, he passed out. And it turns out he has developed a new heart condition. So that was a crazy 2 or 3 days because we needed him out of the hospital to go to graduation. But we also needed him to be healthy. Oh my goodness. Life has just been so busy. I did, you know how I've had a love affair with Lion Brand ice cream yarn, and I told you eventually my love affair or my obsession with it would kind of like taper off. It did. While I'm still working on a blanket, I work about an hour on the border, and then I put it down for a week. And then I work on it for about half an hour, and then I put it down for a week. So I'm really far behind on a lot of things. So let's just start with, I'm going to start with small, simple stuff, okay? A couple weeks ago, I had dug out some of my vintage Red Heart Super Saver in a variegated color to work on some patchwork squares. And this is going back 2 or 3 weeks at this point, okay? The color is this one. This color right here. Hold on a second. Okay, all right. They call it Wedgwood. I mean, look at that color. Oh, it's fantastic. That blue, that pink, and it's very much like a slate blue and a dusty rose pink that's light and dark. I love this color. I only made 5 patchwork squares. Yeah, it was just, you know, whenever I was sitting at my computer. But these have been sitting on the floor next to my computer chair for weeks now. So I figured, all right, let's go get a video done. Let's tell you that I made these so I can put them in the pile because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back to it. But I'm really loving this vintage color of Wedgwood. And I had found the Wedgwood at the thrift store back in 2024. So I really did love this color. So for now, since I just told you about it, I'm going to put it in the bin sitting next to me that has patchwork squares in it, okay? And then I picked a more contemporary color. As I pick the colors based on my mood. It's like, I'll go to my husband and I'll be like, I'm feeling green today. Be like, what does that mean? It means I feel like working with the color green. Well, I picked a green. It's 2 greens, 2 blues, and 2 purples mixed together. Still, it's Red Heart Super Saver in the color Wildflower. So this is, it was only a partial skein. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of it so far. And I think that last little bit's not enough to make a full patchwork square. Yeah. So there is the Wildflower. So now I can get this off the floor at my desk and put it in the bin. Easy peasy. I am so sorry for everybody who followed along when I did that Patchwork Squares crochet along last year. I should have known that a year wasn't long enough for me to finish a very big project of that undertaking. I should have been I should have realized that I typically will get like to 9 or 10 months in and then put it down for a couple months and then go back to it. I just thought I would be able to stick with it this time, and I didn't. I have put it down for a couple months, and I will get back to it at some point to put it together. I had to keep checking, make sure my microphone's working today because I haven't charged it in a while. Do you remember the yarn haul that I had from the thrift store where the yarn was, it had some bugs on the outside of it, so I had soaked it in warm soapy water, and then I made sure there was no bugs on the outside, and I let it sit outside for a couple days. I let it sit in my freezer for a couple days. Right now, it's been sitting on my floor. Like, I sat it on the floor to finish drying, so then I could put it into cake form. I never got back to it. You know, because of life, I just never got back to it. So there's 4 little skeins of this, and it is so clean, and it is so pretty, and I have not seen one single bug on it. So I'm hoping that when life settles down a little bit, maybe in the summer, although I don't know, because I plan on going to New York for the day with my 18-year-old. We want to go see a play, whether it's on Broadway or off Broadway. And my husband and I want to start traveling again like we used to do before we had kids. So, you know, I might start getting busy again and living life again. But the yarns came out nice and clean. I don't see a bug anywhere on them. So I feel good enough to bring them up near my stash. And then there was this yellow variegated. This came out nice and clean too. It washed really well when soaking it in the water. It dried really well. So I feel comfortable putting it in my stash. And then a couple weeks ago, I found, while my love affair was with Lion Brand ice cream yarn, I think I'm having a love affair with a number 3 light baby yarn, because I was at 2nd Avenue Thrift and I found some loops and threads, snuggly wuggly, and it's called Pee-wee Prints. And this color is called Pixie, and it's got some yellow, some green, and lots of white. I'm hoping that my camera can show you, guinea pig bedding. We have guinea pigs in our house. Hope you can see that color. Now, the thrift store was asking $3.99 for it, which is fine, because it's like twice that in the store. But I think, because it's Loops and Threads, which is from Michael's, I think they're getting rid of their Snuggly Wuggly line of yarns. So I didn't mind paying $3.99 for it, but I just bought it just last month in May. Has it been that long since I've done an update video? Man, it might have been. So I actually have 2 skeins of that. So I'm going to go put that in my yarn stash after I come home from my little vacation that I'm going on, okay? So the vacation that we're doing, it's just a long weekend. But I'm calling it a vacation because I have not been away from my house in years, okay? We are leaving on Friday the 20th. We'll be gone Saturday the 21st. And so we're leaving about noon on Friday. When we come home Sunday, it should be late Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. We are going upstate Pennsylvania, because you guys know I live in the suburbs of Philly. Born and raised. My husband's mother was raised up in the Pocono area, Montoursville, and Williamsport. So that's where his parents settled when they retired. And they are having their 60th wedding anniversary party get together on Saturday. So we're going up for the weekend to celebrate their 60 years of being married. And so my husband and I decided to make it a long weekend. So we will be spending Friday night with them for the family dinner, because they've got one of their kids is coming in from Colorado. One kid's coming in from Tennessee. We're coming from the Philadelphia area, but so is a sister. There's a sister that lives in Levittown. So we're all going up for the weekend, and my husband and I rented, we typically don't do hotels. We like to do inns, and we found an inn that is absolutely adorable. So it's got a vintage, antique, Victorian mansion kind of vibe thing going along. So I'll take some pictures and maybe some video. I have to charge my battery when I get done with you guys today. I'm really looking forward to it. So then Saturday is their anniversary party. and then Saturday, like in the afternoon, and then Saturday night is another family dinner, and then Sunday is church. And then my husband and I aren't sure if we're going to go to church. We might, or we might find something else to do and then come home. And then he took off on Monday, like way back in the day when we did our day trips and our weekends away. We always made sure that we took off the day before we left and the day after we came home. So he'll still be home on Monday. And then I was thinking about going out to the movies. And then on Tuesday, he has a doctor's appointment with his family doctor because his family doctor wants to talk about what happened that landed him in the hospital and figure out where they're going to go. So it's like a follow-up appointment, but with his family doctor. So it's going to be a busy weekend. Hopefully it's a fun weekend. And, you know, I'm looking forward to resting and relaxing and doing absolutely nothing but socializing with people, which I gotta, you know, I'm not much of a socializer. I'm great with talking to you guys, but when I'm out in public, unless it really is my group of people, which my in-laws are, don't get me wrong, I love my in-laws, but they're not quite my group of people. So I will get shy and quiet, a little bit moody, a little bit anxious, sitting in the corner, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to psych myself up for it. I don't know. Does any of that make sense? I mean, we're introverts, but we're extroverts, you know, a little bit of everything. Also, when I was at the thrift store, I found this. Crochet Cute Critters. 26 easy amigurumi patterns. Now, I don't do amigurumi. I actually just recently tried one. I find it very hard to do it. By Sarah Zimmerman. Now, if you guys know, Sarah has a blog and a Facebook page. And it's Repeat Crafter Me. I love Sarah. She's absolutely adorable. I found her book in the thrift store for $3.49, so I bought it. I want to see if Sarah can help me get into amigurumi and make something fun. Ooh! How about an alligator? Could I do an alligator? I don't know. So I've been following Sarah for years, and when the book first came out, I just... Ooh, how about a cat? I should have supported her back then and bought a book back then. But, you know, my kids were still younger and we're still making mortgage payments. And, you know, it was tough. Ooh, I like the giraffe. Yeah, he's the one that's on the front cover. He needs to make a giraffe. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to going through her book and finding something. And maybe I can make something out of it. And then, this is my favorite thing. I found this for $2.99. Right? It's Leisure Arts. Quick and Cozy Afghans. I love books like this. I grew up with books like this between my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom. These are the kind of books that I grew up with. Most of them were Leisure Arts. And I love this. And this book is in such good condition. Let's see when it was published. 1994. I was only like 23 years old. So like I was flipping through it and there's so many patterns in here that I recognize from way back in the day and things that I would love to make today. Especially the one that's on the cover with those cabling that they got going on. They got scrap projects in here and just I would love to sit and flip through this, but this blanket right here, I'm in love with this and I want to make this. So go to your local thrift stores and hit the book section and look for crafts and hobbies. You might be able to find some crochet books. Okay. I do have another yarn haul. Okay. Hold on a second. When I did the flip through of the Hirschner's catalog, I did go place an order. Half of my order is on back order. I ordered like 10 skeins of black. So I can make a sweater that looks just like my sweat jacket. So, like, the black is on back order. But this is the rest of the stuff that I ordered from Hirschner's. I got a cake of mandala, lime brand mandala, in the colorway Doxy. I don't know, I kind of like that. I needed to add something to my order that would get me up to the $35 mark. So I can get the $4.99 shipping. And this was like almost full price at like $8, which is fine. Because I'm really digging these colors on the outside. Maybe not so much this darker stuff. But this here, I like that. I like that a lot. So then, you know, my heart truly is variegated. They had Hirschner's baby yarn. It's their 2-ply Afghan yarn. It was $1.99. And it's a number 2 fine. And they had some variegated colors I wanted to try out. So this is Sunshine. And this is Castle. Okay. This is Monster. Oh, I love that. Come on, camera, focus. Monster. Oh, I love the browns and the greens and the blues together. Oh, I love that. And then this is Dress Up. Ah, little princess playing dress up. So it's purples and yellows. Okay, with a little bit of pink and white in there. I want to make a patchwork squares blanket out of lighter weight yarn in lots of pastels. So this is going to get me started. Okay, so I also ordered a whole bunch of 2-ply Afghan yarn in black, but for whatever reason, it's on back order. So there we go. All right, so project-wise, let's stop and take a break for a second, check my microphone, grab a drink, be right back. Okay, project-wise, my Lion Brand ice cream yarn blanket. Where's the hook for that? Okay. So you know that I decided to leave the blue and white, the pink and white as panels. And then I made a panel out of the yellow and white. And the green and white, which all these colors. This is strawberry. This is mint. Lemon meringue. And blueberry. Well, a couple weeks ago, I did trim around each panel. So around the blue one, the green one, the pink one, the yellow one. I did 3 rows of white. Okay. And then when I was done with that, then I stitched them all together. So there's 3 rows of white around the blue, 3 rows of white around the yellow, and then single crochet to stitch them together. And then when I was done that, I did a round of single crochet in the white before I switched over to the purple, which they call the purple grape. All right. So this is one skein of the purple is done. And this is where I started not working on it as much. Okay. I did the 3 rounds of white on the blue and then I put it down. I mean, it was days before I went back and did 3 rounds of white on the pink, and then before I did the yellow, before I did the green. And then it was days later before I stitched them together. It was days later before, you know, I put the round of white on all 4 of them. It was days, maybe a week later before I started with the grape for the purple. And then even then I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds with the first skein of the purple. And it's really, my friends, it has been doing 1 round and putting it down and not going back to it, and doing 1 round and putting it down and not going back to it. So it's been sitting on the floor next to my computer, and it's just been staring at me, judging me, and being like, why aren't you getting back to me? And it's like, because I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. I lost my motivation for it, so I don't want the cats to bother it while I'm away for the weekend, because they are going to be a nuisance since I'm going away. So I'm putting all of my stuff away in my room so I don't have to worry about them getting into it. So I'm just going to sit this off in my project pile, and hopefully you guys will tell me down in the comments gently to get back to it and get it done. And I'll listen to you. I might grumble while I do it, but I'll listen to you. Okay, yeah, is my face looking a little red? Maybe. We have a whole house air conditioner. So downstairs is, I got it set at 74 because it's supposed to be like 95 degrees today. Let's go see what the app's saying it is. So it's like 1:14 in the afternoon, and it's currently 89 degrees in Morrisville. All right. So while I've got the house thermostat set at 74, so downstairs is comfortable. Upstairs, not so much, because you know that heat rises. So all the warm air in my house is coming upstairs. Now, normally by this time of year, we have a window air conditioner in our bed, because we've only got one window in our bedroom, and that's all that sunlight, right? Normally, but we had to do some maintenance to our window unit. We had to clean it out because they get a lot of water in them. So we've been dusting it and checking it for mold, and so we haven't put it in yet. And then we have a second unit for in the kids' bedroom across the hallway. We haven't gotten that one in yet either. So it's a little toasty up here, and it's a little warm. All right, so I've got one last project that's sitting here, and Arlo has now made himself comfortable in it. Okay, hold on. Let's get you off the tripod. Ready? There's my project. And there's Arlo. Oh my God, my friends, I love this cat so much. Look at him. Look at all that fluff on him. He's got to be so uncomfortable up here. And we're going to have to get downstairs so he can cool off. Hi, baby. Y'all have to know, he brought up yarn to me today. I found brown. I found the orange. And I found some yellow. This cat. Hi, baby. Back to the tripod. We've got work to do. All right, so this project. Let's see. We recently had a 17-year-old in our house. She's the friend of our 18-year-old. She was spending some time with us lately because things have been a little rocky at home. And because I keep my air conditioner on all the time, my house gets a little chilly. And she was kind of cold the night she was hanging out with us. So my husband gave her the crocheted blanket that's on the couch, which is the spider stitch blanket that we all made 2 years ago now. The spider stitch crochet along that we had done, and I had done where the colors were a darker pink and then a lighter pink, a darker blue and a lighter blue, a darker purple and a lighter purple. Remember, I went back and forth. Well, that's on the couch, and it's become my husband's blanket for when we're watching TV at night. And so she was all wrapped up in the blanket, and we're just chatting and hanging out, having a good time. And this 17-year-old says to me, I have never had my own blanket. And I was like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, why? How? And then my heart was broken. Like, how did that happen? How do you not ever have your own blanket? She didn't want to talk about it. And I totally understand that. And I totally respect that. Okay. But this kid, she says she's never had her own blanket. And it broke my heart. And then right on the heels of that, I'm like, I'm going to make you a blanket. I am going to make you a blanket. She goes, no, don't do that, because I do not accept gifts very well. And I'm like, well, I give gifts very well. I don't care. I am making you a blanket. Now, this is all done respectfully, okay? So, the spider stitch blanket, when I had been working out the numbers to do the crochet along with you guys, I had some Vanna's Choice, Vanna White. You know how Vanna White made her own yarn line with Lion Brand. I had some, it's the color Radiant Lime, okay? I was using that to work out the sample and to work out my numbers. So I still had the initial starting chain, the first row of single crochet, the first row of the spider stitch, and it was still all connected to the skein of yarn. And it was just floating around in my stash while I went and dug it out. So there it is. There is the starting chain, the first row of single crochet, and the first row of the spider stitch. I went and found the hook. I had no idea what hook size I was using. I just guessed, and I think I might have guessed wrong. I'm not sure. I don't know. So it was a little wonky here in the beginning, but I eventually worked it out by the second or third row. And I worked up the rest of Vanna's Choice in the color Radiant Lime. And I'm like, I am making this kid a blanket, and I hope she doesn't mind, because it's coming from a good place. It's coming from all the love I can possibly have, because I just don't make blankets for other people anymore. My family, while it was big growing up, has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, and nobody's having any babies. And I stopped making blankets for family years ago because everybody's got one. Every brother and sister I have has a blanket. Every niece and nephew I have has a blanket. My mom has a blanket. My kids, my husband, even my cats. Arlo's got his own little blanket downstairs. And I even have a grand niece and a grand nephew. They've all got blankets, okay? So when this 17-year-old says she's never had her own blanket, I'm like, I'm gonna go make a blanket, and I hope she doesn't mind. So when I was done with the Radiant Lime, I found the Spring Green. I think it's a Spring Green from Red Heart Super Saver. It no longer had the label on it, but I'm pretty sure I used it in the crochet along. And same with the pink and the orange. I think these two are from Big Twist. And then the blue is Aruba C from Red Heart Super Saver. This blue here is another of the Vanish Choice. I've got the label for that. Like, so some of these have labels and some of them don't. Yeah, that's Aruba C. Oh, it's called Sapphire. This darker blue is called Sapphire from Vanish Choice, and I absolutely love the shade of blue. It's beautiful, and it was only a partial skein. This red is called Berry Red, and it's from Red Heart with Love, and it was only a partial. Okay. These two shades of purple, again, from our Spider Stitch Crochet Along. They could be Red Heart, they could be Big Twist. I'm not sure. I don't have the labels for them. This blue is Loops and Threads Impeccable from Michaels. It was a full brand new skein that I had on my stash, in my stash on my shelf, and the color is called Aqua. So I only used some of it because this is like a 4.5 ounce skein. It would have made a lot, and I want my rows to be very similar in numbers. So I loved that color. So then I think I did 10 rows. Yeah, so you see how this is a bigger chunk of color compared to the rest of these, because these were just partials and the leftovers of the skein, right? But I'm trying to use yarn where I get at least 5 rows out of it, 5 or more if I can. Yeah, so I'm coming in roughly with an average of about 6 rows per color, except for this beginning one and this one here. All right, so you see I went with just some fun colors, and then I found out that her favorite color is red, so there's red for her, and her boyfriend's favorite color is blue, so the blue is for him. These two shades of green together is because that night I was wearing a green shirt, my kid was wearing a green shirt, and the friend was wearing a green shirt, so I'm actually going to put a third shade of green further up, okay? After I got done with this aqua color, and I'm like, you know, I wanted to put some yellow, some mustard yellow, golden yellow. I wanted to put some yellow next to this tealish aqua color. So this is Karen 1 pound in the color Sunflower. This is a lot of yarn, so I did 5 rows of the Sunflower, okay? And then I knew I wanted to go to brown, but then I was like looking at it, I'm like, you know, if I put some dark orange in there to give it some 70s vibes, you know, so I'm playing this blanket just whatever I feel like on any particular day. That is what I'm doing. And then I'm laying it out, and I lay out color choices next to it to see, because you know, colors just are not colors. There are tones, there are shades, there are saturations, there are brightnesses, there are contrasts. There's so many different variables that go into picking colors. I knew I wanted an orange in between the golden yellow and this warm brown. I knew I wanted orange in there, okay? So like all the orange I have is Halloween pumpkin orange. So it's that bright orange, right? And I said to my husband, like, I had been at Michaels.com and I was just seeing if they had any Impeccable in the darker orange. I wanted an orange with a brown undertone. So I said to my husband, I'm going to have to break down. I'm going to have to go to Michaels, and hopefully they've redone their yarn section, because there was news about Michael doing, they bought Joann's intellectual property. They want to expand their sewing section. They want to expand their yarn section. So yay! I wanted to see if my Michaels has done that yet, but I haven't had a chance to get over there. And I'm like, so I was checking the internet and they had some darker shades of pumpkin orange that I wanted. And they had 4 skeins of it. It's not on sale. And I'm like, I'm going to go over after I drop the kid off at work tomorrow. And because Michael's is on the way. And every now and then when I drive by Michael's, right, and I don't have to stop in there. Every now and then when I drive by, my kid, the 20-year-old, be like, Mom, do you hear them calling to you? And I'm like, yeah, Jennie, come see the yard. So it's always a joke when we're in the car, when we're driving by Michael's and we don't stop, that, yeah, I can hear Michael's calling my name. I can hear the yarn calling my name. So where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I said to my husband, because I try to be honest and transparent with him when I am going shopping for yarn, because he is helping me understand why I'm going shopping. Am I doing it because I'm bored? Am I doing it because I'm feeling stressed? Because something's bothering me? Arlo's attacking my yarn. Stop it. So like he'll help me talk through it and figure out if it's something that I legitimately need to do. And he goes, you don't have any orange upstairs? I'm like, well, yeah, I've got orange upstairs, but it's the bright pumpkin orange for Halloween. I'm pretty sure I don't have the darker orange. And he goes, well, did you check? And I'm like, no, because I'm pretty sure. And I'm sitting there on the couch with him. I'm like, you know what? I'll be right back. So my friends, I came upstairs and I looked at my storage shelf and there's 2 skeins of the darker orange with the brown undertones looking right at me. And I was like, pretty sure I didn't have it, but I did. I so totally did. So here we go. You ready? Carrot from Red Heart Super Saver. Right? And terracotta from Vantage Choice. And I've already got Vantage Choice in this blanket twice. So this is the terracotta. I found this outside my bedroom door this morning because Arlo stole it from next to my desk and carried it around like he does. So now it's a total mess. So that's my story for the week, guys. I was pretty sure I didn't have any darker orange, but there you go. I had 2 skeins of it looking right at me. I did go with the terracotta because it is just a tad bit darker than the carrot from Red Heart, and I really wanted the darker saturated color. Okay, so there we go. That's my nod to the 70s inside this very, very impromptu spider stitch blanket that I am making for a 17-year-old girl who's never had her own blanket. Okay, and she'll understand the 70s vibe because I know this kid. All right, she'll understand the 70s vibe. So the brown is just, I think it's Red Heart, and it's a warm shade of brown that does not have a label on it. Heck, it can be Bernat Super Value for all I know. I have no idea. So I finished up that brown last night, and what I'm going to do today, when I'm not packing my suitcase, I'm going to do this lighter shade of cafe latte warm brown. Okay, this is either Big Twist or Red Heart Super Saver. I'm not sure which one it is. I used it for another project and I frogged it, so I don't know where the label is. And then I have a plan to put in a creamy white and then go back to the green. And then after that, I'm not quite sure where I'm going after that. But this is... And I'm loving it. I'm loving the randomness of the colors. That's not completely random. And I'm loving the vibe of this blanket because I'm putting all the love in the world into this blanket. All right. And that's what I love about crocheting. Crocheting can be very precise and very meticulous and very well planned and complicated and high end and fancy. And you get great looking stuff. But it can also be very random and very chaotic and based on your mood and with the simplest of stitches and the simplest of yarns. And you can still come out with a beautiful thing because you're making it with love. Almost everything we do with crocheting is made with love. And I love that. I love that. And I love you guys. And I love my cat. And I'm loving life right now. Okay? I'm loving life right now with the 18-year-old graduating. And they're getting ready for college. My kid is going to Walnut Hill College. It's in Philadelphia. It's in a part of Philadelphia called University City. It's where a lot of colleges and universities are located. It's right around the corner from Drexel, and that's where her friend is going. Her friend is going to Drexel and living on campus. Now, my kid's not living on campus. They're going to be staying here at home and then driving to the train station and taking the train down because it's just the easiest way to get there. So I think their first semester starts in late August, early September, I want to say. So the kid's getting ready for that. They're planning a road trip with their friends for the summer. They want to travel a little bit, which I want to go back to traveling. My husband and I traveled a bit before the kids came along. Now, mind you, it was all within the United States. The first time I ever left the States was in 2002 when I went to Costa Rica for my honeymoon. So I'm not an international traveler, even though my husband is, because he grew up overseas in Indonesia and he has passports from when he was a kid. I've never done any international travel except for Costa Rica. So it's always been local, okay? But I'm excited to get back to it. Dipping my toes into just going to up past the Poconos for a family thing is a good way to start, I think. Yeah. So I am supposed to be packing a suitcase today. I have no idea what to put in there. I mean, toiletries are easy. We all need soap and shampoo and a toothbrush. That's the easy part. But everything else, you know, like I don't feel like I never know what kind of clothes I want to wear until I get up in the morning. So like, what kind of clothes do I put in there? I have no idea. So I think that's it. I did some patchwork squares a couple weeks ago. I have been working on the Lion Brand ice cream yarn, but it's not every day, and I have no motivation to get it done. I don't know why. I mean, it happens with almost every project that I'm planning on working on. I just, for some reason, like to put them down and let a couple weeks, couple months go by before I go back to them. Now, this spider stitch blanket that I'm making for a 17-year-old, I will stick with it until I am done. So I got to learn how to take that Motivation and apply it to everything else. I don't know. So I hope you guys are doing well. Arlo and I have got to get downstairs and cool off. Sunday's video is already uploaded to YouTube. It's scheduled. It's just more sorting and organizing. And I want to thank you guys for your feedback. I know those videos are not easy to watch because I do a lot of holding the camera. But it's such a small, confined space. There's no room for my tripod in there. And I can't put my tripod in the hallway because it changes the angle and then you can't really see what I'm doing anyway. So I know it's a lot of holding the camera, and I know that's not always easy to watch. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking with it. We're up to day, 13? And I've got 20 days into my computer before we get caught up to current day. So thank you. It's still an ongoing process. I actually have not done any sorting and organizing since April, and I need to get back to it. So thank you very much. Arlo thanks you. He's finally fallen asleep. Aww. So, all right, yeah, I'm going to let you guys go, and I will catch you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.